Ripple Effect Podcast. We're so glad that you've joined us, whether you're watching this or you're listening to this on the go. We're so glad that you're here. My name is Daniel, and in the studio we have JT with us and Brian Sevitz. And I'm really glad to get some masculinity back in here. We had the ladies last time, and I needed this.
I don't even remember the last podcast I was on.
So. It's been a minute.
Long time.
It has been a minute because Levi did one with students beforehand, and before that I did one with Daryl. So it's been a minute. Mm-hmm. So back in action, and we're here, and we're glad to be with you. Before we get to JT's here to share some of his story, and we're excited to hear from you. Want to do a quick little reminder of what's coming up this weekend. On Sunday, we have Barber Community, and this is going to be the third annual...
Yep, I think so.
All right, third annual Barber Community. Brian, why don't you tell everybody, what is Barber Community? What do they need to know about it?
All right. Barber Community, we get together. The church provides the meat, and this year I think we're having... Well, I shouldn't say because they may change it, and then people will be disappointed. But I think 3 different types of meat.
Hey.
We're having that. We'll have some shade out there. We'll have some tables set up, but we do want you to bring your lawn chair if you can. If not, we can always pull chairs from inside if we need to. And you just bring whatever you think goes with barbecue. You know, everybody this year do not bring potato salad. Last year, pretty sure we had like 15 extra potato salad in the fridge.
Now, I love potato salad, but that is way too much to have extra.
I don't even like it. So,
yeah.
But anyway,
me neither. That's okay.
You don't like potato salad?
Man.
Yeah,
I'll eat either way, the mustard or the mayo-based one. I'll either of them.
Anyway, so bring a side, dessert if you want, or both. And it's gonna. Well, we hope to have some games outside.
Yep.
I don't know exactly which ones you have lined up, but
we're gonna do some pickleball. We're gonna have some cornhole and some other toss games. But the cool thing about Barber Community is that it's not like an agenda. We don't have anything that we're doing other than we eat, we hang out, we enjoy each other's company, and we fellowship. And it's one of the we have other events that are kind of like that, but it's one of the few that it's just purely to enjoy each other.
Yeah. And we'll probably be, if it rains, coming inside because they are preparing all of the meat. I would hate to cancel it. So
we'll have food.
We'll just come inside if we have to. I hope we don't because it's always awesome being outside. And so we hope it's good weather for that.
Yeah. So anyway, that's starting at 6 o'clock on Sunday, and we hope to see you there. All right, JT. I do this with every guest that comes on. We're going to give you 60 seconds on the clock. And imagine you've never met this person who's watching, this person who's there. They don't know a thing about you. What are the most important things they need to know about JT? Who are you? You've got 60 seconds on the clock. Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay. Well, hold on. I had the clock up, and now where did it go? Now you've got 60 seconds. On your mark, set, go.
So, I'm JT. I am from right here in Missouri. I grew up just right outside of Madison, Missouri. I have a lot of family from here in Moberly. My father is John Tompkins, which is my name as well, John Tompkins. That's what JT stands for. He was first person to have a Taekwondo school here in Moberly, and my mother grew up here. She has a lot of family here. We have a lot of family here. I grew up on a farm. I moved to Phoenix, Arizona, like when I was like about to do senior year in high school. I started playing in like marching band and jazz bands. I went into college and started doing a music program there. I ended up getting my audio production degree, and then I came back here and I started making music. And just recently I switched to gospel music. And so that's I think that's where I'm at.
You went over 3 seconds.
I am sorry.
Yeah, you've get out.
I like to talk.
No, that's all right. So music's been a big part of your life. You've been in this area for a long time, and you got that weird. I didn't know you grew up on a farm.
I did. I grew up on a farm. It's my grandfather was a farmer for his whole life, and the farm was corn and soybean.
So you didn't ride any cows?
The cows were gone before I was born, so unfortunately no. But I did ride horses. We had horses.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, is this the farm where you're gonna move back to, or a different place?
Yes, it's the property that I'm moving back to is the 40 acres that I actually grew up on with my mother. It's not the actual farmland.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but it's a piece of the land though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
But everyone may someday see an announcement go out saying JT's needing help moving, and
Yeah,
Yeah, that's-
absolutely.
sometime this summer.
Yeah, bring the trucks.
Yeah, get it done. Well, I asked you to come on because you've been around Timberlake now for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
It's been what, 2-3 years?
It's been about 3 years. I think you baptized me in 2000. Was it 23?
23. Yeah.
2023.
And so you have a really interesting story, unique story, and I thought people would resonate with it. And so I wanted you to share a little bit about, like, what did your life look like before, I don't know how far back you want to go, but before considering Jesus, considering the church, really taking things this seriously.
I mean, I was kind of a churchgoer when I was younger,
Right.
but I had kind of a bad church experience when I was in high school that kind of like drove me away from church for a long time. And
Sure.
so, and I never was somebody that like I was never somebody that said I didn't believe in God. That
Okay.
wasn't something that but I also like was very against, like, I was honestly, to be honest, I was very against Christian churches for a long time, you know, like
Sure.
I had this idea that, you know, oh, I believe in God, but I don't believe what they believe or whatever, you know, and
Yeah.
and it was just the bad experiences that I had when I was younger, you know, and
Which is so common.
mhm.
I mean, it does not take much to get a bad taste in your mouth about churches or about Christians or about like how people are acting, and that's pretty common.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of the people that I was around when I was younger were the same way, you know. And it's very common for people to like say they believe in God, but they don't go to church, and, you know.
So what do you think the difference between like, I believe in God, I guess, can you say you believe in God but not actually live like you're believing in God?
I think you can, and I don't want to make it like, you know, I shouldn't say like just people that just don't go to church, because I also believe that there are people that really are trying to live for God that don't necessarily like maybe have the time to always go to church or whatever, but they are trying, you know. So that's not really what I meant, but I do think that it is possible. I mean, I was doing it for a long time. I said I believed in God, but I was not living for him. I wasn't, you know, I mean, I was still running from him in a sense, you know. I really was.
Yeah. And it makes me think of the Bible verse. It's like, even the demon believes and shudder. Like, the demons believe in God, they believe in Jesus, but that doesn't mean that they're living for God or living for Jesus.
Right.
Belief and ownership are not the same thing. Just because you believe something doesn't mean that God is Lord of your life. And you know, belief is a huge part, but I can believe something is true and not do anything about it. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So you were on a music track for a while.
I
So
was.
you tell me a little, tell the people a little bit about that.
So like, do you mean like the music that I was making and releasing? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like what was
or-
your end goal? What was the dream? What was the what drove you?
I mean, honestly, it's hard to, it's kind of like, I kind of fell into it, to tell you the truth. Like I I mean, like I told you, I went to school for music, and I played in a lot of bands. I actually played in reggae bands, and I played in
Did you do a ska band ever?
We did ska music.
I knew you did ska music, but I didn't know if you were in a ska
We
band.
weren't in I was never in a ska band per se, but like we definitely did some ska music.
How many kids that are like teenagers today do you think would even know what ska music is? I just don't think there's very many.
It
was such like a small.
If we're talking about the teenagers I work with, none. Yeah, but no, I honestly, that was an experience that was. I mean, that was honestly at that time. I think I really feel like I was like searching for God in the wrong ways, through a lot of those times, but like the bands that I was with, I'm sorry, I can't talk today.
It's fine.
The bands that I was with, like they were great bands. I mean, they were amazing bands, but like, I feel like I go back to like the things that I was, trying to write about or sing about or whatever. And I really didn't feel like, I don't feel like that was me, like I don't feel like, well, I mean, I don't want to say that either, because the music that I started writing and releasing after I got out of those bands was like a lot of it was like how I felt at the time, but I look at it now and I don't feel like that anymore for sure, and I think it's because I wasn't like really, I wasn't living for God, I'm sorry, no.
I was just say it's interesting. You said you're still in that time you were trying to find God, or even maybe just pursue something greater than yourself, meaning, purpose, all of those things. And it's interesting to me how music, for a lot of people, is that avenue.
Absolutely,
like trying to find yourself, trying to find meaning in this, song or in whatever I'm releasing. And there's a lot of people trying to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So what was it for you because you toured, you released some CDs?
I never actually specifically toured.
Just for you.
But I mean, I wasn't like touring per se. I was just doing a lot of shows in different places and stuff. It wasn't like, I wouldn't call it a tour, but I was doing a lot. I mean, I was playing in a lot of different places. And when I started doing my hip hop music, that was when I started doing a lot more shows, because I didn't need to call up a band.
Right, you just go.
I just went, now I did have a band that was doing some of the I had a hip hop band.
You're hearing that right, folks. Hip hop. This white boy here is a hip hop artist, and he can rap. He can rap pretty well.
Thank you.
So I'm putting you on the spot now. I would love to put in this podcast a picture of what you looked like when you were rapping. Would you allow me to do that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Do you have one?
No, I need you to send me one.
So, like, do you want to?
I want the full thing. I want the full look.
Okay,
if you're not watching this, JT has a buzz cut, and he does this thing where he goes. You do this once a year, right? Where you buzz cut, shave.
Yeah, I mean, and I actually have for a long time. I've been here. I'm trying to find. Let me try to find some.
That's right. You find it, and I'll just put it in the picture.
Yeah, that's cool.
But before, he had the longest dreads that I don't know if I've ever seen or met someone in person that had longer dreads than what you had, which is pretty wild. Which took years for you to. I mean, if anybody knows anything about dreadlocks, it takes a long time.
I think I got. This is kind of. You want that one?
Yeah, that's a great one.
You want that one?
That's the one I want.
Okay.
Send that to me.
Let me send it to you. Okay.
So you had that. You're trying to find yourself, doing the music. I'm curious because I don't know this part of the story super, super well. What opened you up to even considering Jesus, church, coming back to a place where you still had some, mixed emotions about? Not this church particularly, but, churches in general. So what What changed?
I'm sorry. Say that again. I have ADHD. I wasn't there
good.
for a minute.
We got the Mountain Dew in the back. You're fine. We'll just get you a little hit. I'm saying, what from doing music, trying to pursue some stuff, find purpose, find those things. What changed that you were ready to consider Jesus, coming back to a church? Like what changed?
It's a kind of a heavy story. I mean, I've told it to some people, but honestly, what really changed that was I had a bad relationship with a woman, and that's how I met. That's actually how I met Janelle Owen. He's my landlord currently, and he had given me a place to stay, me and this woman, and then she was really into alcoholism, and it was pretty bad for a while, and then we had a very bad breakup, and I mean, it was knockout, drag out, bad breakup kind of thing going on, and I ended up having to get her removed from the place before I can move back in, and I went back after she was gone, and I felt like I just had returned to this battlefield, you know, where I had just fought this war, like just a horrible war, and I came out into Janelle's driveway, and he came out, and I was just like, man, I don't know what to do here, and he was praying with me, and he told me to come here. He told me about this church, and honestly, at that moment, I hadn't really like decided that I was gonna start going to church on a regular basis. I honestly came in here just kind of like, oh, I'll just try it. I'll just come into church, and then like the people here, you both here, you know, like you were very like welcoming, and all the people here were just very like welcoming, and it was a church experience that I had never had before, honestly. So, and that really like, I mean, that opened me up to a lot of things, you know. And then honestly, I feel like, I don't know when it was, but it was almost like this moment where I felt like God was with me all of a sudden, you know, like it was just like, you know, and it was like he was just right there, you know, and I was just like, okay, you know, I think I get it now, you know, and I just started coming to church more and more. It's hard for a while because of my work schedule. If you remember, I was working.
You were driving.
Yeah, well, I was driving.
And training.
I was driving, and I was working at that was when I first started working at the distribution center.
Oh, okay.
And I had a night schedule.
I didn't know you were doing both.
I was doing both for a little while, I had quit doing that at one point, but I was still working nights, and so like switching up my schedule for the weekend to do church and stuff was like very difficult for me, you know, like being here at church.
So it was a commitment.
Yeah, it was a commitment that I really had to like, you know, like get myself ready for when I did it. And I started, which one thing that saved me is the fact that you all had to have it streaming too, you know, like I was able to like, even when I didn't make it here, I was able to get on my phone and do church, you know, and
that's so interesting, because I don't know about you, Brian, I always downplay the online stuff. Like it's not as important. And to hear you say
that kept me going. It really did. It gave me a way to, like, I can't make it to church, but I can wake up and at least be there in my phone in church, you know. So
and sometimes, because we've gotten this complaint before, some people think like investing in that or spending money on tech stuff isn't worth it. And I mean, you can obviously overdo anything, but it's good to hear you say that.
Yeah, about every time we have a welcome lunch, somebody will say, I started attending online first. And I think for a while we rejected investing more online because we would rather people come here.
Yeah.
There's things about what we're supposed to do with the gathering that cannot happen online or happen radically differently. But I think maybe this is I can't think of hardly anything positive about 2020 and the whole COVID thing, but it did open people up a little more to the concept that certain online connections are possible, and there are great things we can do there if we invest in it. But I still hope that eventually they'll realize what they're missing and they'll still come here.
Yeah.
You know, and most people do.
Yeah.
Most people are like, yeah, I was online 3 months, but then I just decided, why am I not showing up? You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of, most likely they'll get the desire to come, because I had the desire to come more. Like my issue was more like it was just difficult for me to make it here, you know, just physically. But
Yeah.
but the fact that I could get on there and do that kept my interest going in it. You know, if I didn't have that, I might not have like kept my connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. So and just for anybody that wants to do something like that or needs to do something like that, if you can't make it to church and you want to do an online thing, they actually do sell like communion, like you guys have.
Oh, yeah.
Like the disposable communion thing.
I'll do you about one better. If someone's like, I know I'm not going to be at church for a while, they can just ask for communion. We'll give it to them.
Yeah.
Say, hey, here you go. Like,
There you go.
if you, and then, you know, for me, even one better than that, I just get my own stuff at the house and do my own. I want to go back to something you said just for a moment to press on a little bit, because we talk in the office and around, like when we're planning stuff, about how important it is to be welcoming to people, to have the mentality of like being kind and being open. And sometimes when you come to church, if you're just attending, you don't always think about like how your behavior towards others can make a big difference. So I'm just curious, can you think of any like examples of what someone did or how they made you feel that made you feel like this is a really welcoming place? So that we can keep doing it.
It's hard to like put a
one
finger,
thing.
Yeah, a finger on that, you know, because there's just so many people that did such good things. But honestly, I tell you what, like I think one of the biggest moments that made me like I something that like I had never experienced with any other church before. I was playing I play saxophone as well as rap. I don't know if I said that before, but when I was playing in a lot of those bands, I was playing saxophone. And then when I was doing my own music, I was rapping. But I was playing saxophone in the church band, you know, and every once in a while with Brian. And I was having issues with my sax. It wasn't playing right. It had padding issues. It had all sorts of things going on. I was playing, like, I'd be playing in the middle of our thing and it would just squawk, you know, like, I'd be like, and I'm, whoa,
Like,
you know,
wow,
like,
this guy's so jazzy. just call it jazz music. It'll work.
Yeah, you know, I mean, yeah, one wrong note's a mistake, 2 wrong notes is jazz.
That's
you know?
right.
But anyways, I was like, look, I told Brian, I was like, I don't think I can do this for a while until I can like get this. I just was like, I was so nervous about that happening here, like while we were like in the middle of praise and worship, you know. I just didn't want that to happen, you know, and you know, and just ruin the whole moment, you know, like just be having like a moment where somebody's like really opening
Really
up
into it.
and then my sax is like, you know, like, you know, I don't want that to happen. Yeah. So, anyways, I told, you know, I just said that, and then you all opened up and said, hey, you know, we want to help you fix your sax. And then you kind of put the word out, and then before I knew it, I had people coming to me left and right offering to help me fix my sax, you know, like, and it just, and then I was able to get it fixed. I mean, you know, I still put a little bit of money myself into it, but all I wouldn't have been able to do that because it was like a $600-700 fix or something like that.
Yeah, it was
a
big deal.
Yeah, you know, and I just didn't have that money.
Yeah.
You know, and so everybody coming together at that point, you know, like it wasn't only like, oh wow, I've never had this happen. That was so generous. I almost felt like, okay, well, you know, these people just help me. I kind of owe it to the church to, like, you know, keep putting my energy into it, you know, like, so, and, you know, but that led me to eventually realize that all you all really wanted was for me to start living for God. Amen. You know, like, you didn't expect me to do anything for the church. You just wanted me to see that it was God, you know, God doing all that, you know, like, cause he does, he carried that whole thing, and he put me in Janelle's house for a reason. Yeah. Not in Janelle's house, but in, you know, in Janelle's lap. I wasn't, like, you know, staying in his pantry or anything. Yeah. but you know, either way, he put me there for a reason. And, like, I just feel like I didn't even know that he was working on me. But he was working on me.
Yeah, man. So, you know, in that process, church, meeting people, starting to work things out, trying to live for God, that doesn't mean everything was fixed immediately. No, not even close.
Absolutely not.
Right? But you're in small group with Brian. You end up going to Mexico. Like, you've got some of these things that just kind of keep building. And I'm just curious, like, if you could describe. You made the decision, I'm going to follow God. You get baptized. Like I said, doesn't mean it fixes everything. But you've changed pretty much everything in your life to focus on how can I live for God, even down to your music. So I'm just curious, like, for you, what's the difference now, like, how Jesus has changed your life today? What's the difference between JT, you know, before choosing Christ, and now JT now?
I mean, one of the biggest differences, like, that I can say that is just a physical biggest difference is that something that he kind of plucked out of me before any of this even started happening was that I've been sober off of alcohol for almost 5 years now.
Man, that's awesome.
And so, you know, that was something that was really hard for me to get away from. And I was at a bar at a friend's sister's wedding. I was at a bar drinking a whiskey and Coke.
You told me.
And I don't know. I don't know where it came from, but I, like, was halfway through it, and I was just like, I don't want that anymore. And I just set it down, and I walked away from it. Looking back, that was before I started really deciding that I was going to live for God. But looking back, I really feel like that was, like, something that God just did for me, knowing that was what needed to happen in that moment, you know, like, it was just like, I mean, I couldn't have done that by myself. I would not have made that decision alone.
Yeah. And sometimes that's what God does, and as he's pursuing us in his kindness and his mercy and grace, shows us not only who we are, but helps us in ways that we didn't even realize we needed help in. And that's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. And
he's been doing that. I mean, he's been stripping away a lot of, like, you know, sins of the flesh, as I should say, you know, like, and things that I had never thought that I would be able to get rid of. And I've been able to get rid of those things.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And I can't even tell you, like, it's amazing, because there were times where I was just like, I'm just always going to be like this. Yeah. I really had just, like, settled into that, you know? And so to be able to sit here and say that I'm not anymore.
Yeah.
It means a lot.
Well, it's been cool to see how you've grown, even in the couple years that we've known you. And my last question that I had for you is, what do you hope your future looks like? Like, in Christ, as you're trying to honor God, what do you hope the future looks like for you?
You know, I mean, I honestly, like, I just hope that whatever it is that the future does bring, it's for God. Like, I really honestly don't even really know exactly what the future is going to bring. I have a lot.
You knew everything.
I have a lot. Well, you know, I used to think that, but yeah. You know, but anyways, I mean, I have a lot of plans. I mean, I've told you about some of them. You know, I've been like you know, I don't know if I want to say all of those plans.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah, just because like some of those are like, you know, kind of like brewing. You know, just a brewing. But I do know that like music wise, I'm 100% making music for God now. You know, like it's all. I call it gospel, even though I'm doing like hip hop still.
Yeah.
You know,
It's definitely not jazz.
yeah,
I can tell you that.
It's not the kind of, you know, when I say gospel, you know, you're not gonna be hearing a bunch of choirs and you know, like, you know, like it's not like that kind of thing, you know, but it's going well, and that, you know, that music is it's almost like it's just flowing through me. It's not coming out of me. It's like it's flowing through me, you know? And so honestly, if there's anything that I would say that I want other than just to live for God, it would be that I just am able to continue to make that music for God and continue to do that, because music has always been a really important part of my life. And the thing is that I think I was putting music above God, you know?
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to put God above the music through the music.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of us do that in the things that are important to us, and some things that are given to us as gifts become idols. And but when you're chasing that as an idol, it never satisfies.
Right.
You know? And then but when you use it for God, it's like, oh, this is almost even more enjoyable now. Because I'm using what God has given me for what it was meant to be.
I no longer want to talk about God in passing in my music, you know. I want my music to be about what God has done for me, and about my relationship with God, and about, you know. And I think, and I know that you all have heard some of my older music.
Oh yeah.
As
I'm bumping that every day.
as well as the newer stuff, and as you know, there's a drastic difference in what I'm putting into it. Some of the song titles of my older music I can't even say in church. So we'll just leave it there.
Yeah, some of it I might have started and then been like, nah, I'm not gonna listen.
Yeah.
your Goodbye to Alcohol song, though, even though it has some explicit words in it. Yeah.
I've thought about like maybe
I think that
like
one has.
I've thought about like re-recording that and changing
it a little bit.
Yeah.
That one's really good. But it's interesting. I think it's a good picture of just the transformation that takes place when you choose to live for God. It's like all of these things in my life that I thought were the goal that I was chasing now become just tools to glorify God. They just become a part of me on my path to honoring God. And then it's like, oh, that's what it was for. You know, this is a terrible analogy. It's like trying to use the wrong tool for the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And then when you end up using the tool the right way, then it's like, oh, this was perfect. I was thinking of like a screwdriver and trying to use a flathead for a, it's a bad analogy. But like, people talk about living out of your gifting in the right way, sometimes in abstract ways. And it's like, what does that mean? But like, I think your story is a good example of like tangibly what it looks like to live for God, and then to be way more at peace because I'm using my gifts in the way they were designed to be used.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it really does like bring you, I mean, it just like, I mean, there were times where I was like, I stopped doing music and I didn't know what was wrong with me. And now I look back and I realize that it was like, it wasn't that I was like, you know, it wasn't that I was like, I couldn't do music or something. It was just that I wasn't doing it for the right reasons. And I wasn't living right. And, you know, like I think I felt like music could like complete my life, but that's not what was missing.
It's interesting. That's not even like a Christian / secular thing. 'Cause like we see that in ministry. Like you can make your ministry more about you than God and it's not satisfying anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could, because I remember I was in class one time and I made the statement that I think any good preacher, any good communicator can preach a sermon with conviction and really impress people and not mean a word of it. And people in class were like, no, they couldn't. And I was like, yeah, they could. I was like, it's just like you could, someone really gifted and talented could sing a worship song in a moving way and not mean a word of it.
Right.
And so it's like, yeah, what is your heart behind it? That matters a lot.
Absolutely.
And when you came up after that last the sanctification sermon, and we talked about this, I thought about how you've made a shift really quickly in the way that you think about your future and your purpose and everything. And that sermon wasn't directed at you at all.
No.
But after you came up and talked, it was like, okay, this really is, you're living out what that sermon was about.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I didn't have you in mind necessarily when I was writing it. But like, even from the time we went to Mexico, I remember we were in the van coming back and you were like, oh, I know I'm going to do this and this and this. And you kind of were charting a pretty specific course of what you wanted to do. And maybe those things are all in God's plan. They may be, and they may work out that way. But I really personally think we talked about, when we're in the van 24 hours driving back.
It's a long trip.
That you got to give time for God to reveal things to you. And I didn't think in that little amount of time that week, all that could have been revealed, although God can do whatever he wants. You got to allow some space in your process of sanctification. And as you overcome certain sins, and as you start to live right in these areas, certain pieces do just fall into place naturally. And I think that's happening for you. And so I like your answer to that question that he gave, which is, I just want to live for God. Yeah, I've got dreams and stuff, but it's up to him. And to me, that's where, we should be living that way in our ministries and
every day.
Everything, and it's easy.
Well, that answer has changed even since the trip. Like, like you said, I was saying all this stuff during that trip.
Like, you were excited, and I was excited to see your excitement.
Yeah.
But I know, like, me and Todd were like, well, don't get too far ahead of yourself. You gotta make sure God's, steering the ship.
Right. And it was you all saying that, and that was actually another thing that Janelle had said to me too. I had called Janelle, and I was telling him like, oh, this, and I wanted to do this, and this is this, and this and this, and he said, how about you, meet God where he's at, and then find out what it is that he wants you to do. Like don't try to, as you were saying, like, don't try to steer the ship by yourself. Like, don't grab the reins. And I do that all the time. I still do it.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, I know what I'm doing. And then, like, God will throw a rock in front of me and I'll trip. And I'm sorry. I forgot. I was like,
sorry, I'm not driving.
I tried to. He was like, no, I didn't want you to go that way. I want you to go this way. And like, I'm finally starting to realize that, like, okay, I just got to, like, sit back and figure out what it is that he wants me to do. And like, that's why, like, some of those plans even that I was telling you about, like, I think that those plans are, like, the reason why I don't want to say them is because I think that those plans are an actual, like, vision of something that I'm going to do, but I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, and you don't want to make it about you.
Yeah, right. I'm trying
Absolutely.
to that's me trying to let. Okay, I know you want me to do this.
Yeah.
I know you gave me this thought for a reason. Right. I know that you keep giving me these little, like, subliminal messages for a reason. I just don't know what that reason is yet.
Yeah. But whatever it is, it's going to glorify God and it's going to be good.
Absolutely.
Well, I love your story, man. I know this is like the high view up, and there's so many other things that God has brought you through, and he continues to teach you. And I just love your love for him and how your story shows that God's grace is always there. He never leaves a person, and he's always trying to chase them down, pursue them, show them his grace. And when you choose to let him lead, it brings satisfaction. It brings what he wants for us. And I think a good lesson, even for those of you who might be listening in the church, one, I loved what you said about why people helped you. It wasn't that we could get something. Like the goal was always, we just want you to live for God. That's the whole purpose of the church, is to encourage each other to do that, and to bear one another's burdens as we encourage people to do that. But it's a good reminder for all of us in the church is, and on any given Sunday, people walking in the doors, you have no idea what they're carrying or what war zone they're just coming from. Like you said, you described that, moving back into that place like a battle just happened here. Mm-hmm. And the kindness and the focus on, we just want you to know God and to live for him, can really help us in how we approach even meeting new people or welcoming them to the church. And I hope that's encouraging for you, and I hope you take that challenge as a member and a participant here at Timberlake. Like, that's what we get to do, and it can change lives. It's really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, if you see JT around, first ask him about his dreadlocks immediately. I'm going to put the picture in this podcast.
Oh yeah.
And if you're into gospel hip hop, talk to him about that immediately. But you've got a ton of other stories, things that God has shown you, and things that you're still trying to figure out. So if you see JT around, encourage him. If you need to ask some follow-up questions like, hey, what's this? Or how'd you get through that? I'm sure you'd love to talk to people.
And I know a lot about other kind of hip-hop too, so we can have that conversation, Yeah. Who's your top lyricist?
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Eminem. Oh, I didn't say that.
Yeah, well, it's just factual. There's no debate. There's no debate.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here, and thank you all for joining us on the Ripple Effect podcast, and we will see you right here next time. Thank you, guys.